Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Fox. We're going to be doing a full review of the Season 1 Update 3 patch notes for Legacy, Steel, and Sorcery. If you're watching this now, the client is live with this update. We're going to do a review of the patch note. It says, hello, adventurers. Just in time to cool things down during the summer's heat, Update 3 introduces the Wizard's new Frost Orb, a unique addition that brings fresh mechanics, tactical options. Alongside this, the update includes a range of quality of life improvements and balance adjustments across multiple areas of the game. Always, they're looking for your feedback, help shape. So, what you may have seen yesterday, if you watched the dev stream, was quite an extensive view of how the new Wizard's kit works with the Frost Orb. So, pretty exciting. Haven't leveled up the Wizard. Maybe this will entice you to do so. The Frost Orb, I anticipate, will be pretty strong. In general, they added text chat, so now in your lobbies you can text your friends if you're a little shy on the mic. Different game modes now have different types of text chat channels. Press tab to cycle between those channels. Extraction game modes now feature team and local chat channels, which is very helpful. The social hub and deathmatch feature global and team chat channels as well. And party chat will come in a future. So it looks like they're adding lots of quality of life updates for just being able to communicate to your friends and people in the game world. And they updated the lighting on the Greenwood Day, Greenwood Night, and Crypt. So I like to see that they're constantly making adjustments to the lighting in this game. Combat looks like they have general fixes to try to reduce the sprint attacks from canceling early. I've noticed this as a rogue main. I've noticed that this happens quite often. I might be trying to initiate the sprint attack a little early and notice that animation I'm seeing on my side appears as if the sprint attack is going to occur, but then doesn't. Sometimes leaving you kind of vulnerable or just standing there in front of the enemy. So this is nice. This leads me to believe that there is still some tweaks. So I'm curious to see how this feels. If you've noticed any issues with this, leave me a comment down in the comments below. Let me know if there's been any. Curious to see how this plays out. For afflictions, they've added an affliction buildup number to all attacks. In the dev stream, they did talk about this, and they explained that for all intents purposes, at the moment, this is going to give you some very vital information. What affliction is being targeted, at what percentage, at what number. They said this might not be the final build in terms of how they want to display this, but for now, it's a move in the right direction. It's more information, giving you that vital piece to know if you're just maybe a few clicks away of getting that affliction built up to the 100% mark. You know, you can kind of push that, maybe that slight window where you can get that affliction. I feel like this is helpful when you're trying to apply disease as rogue. Or that one does seem to take the longest to apply that affliction. In terms of frostbite, it's saying that it has been reworked. That's due to the new orb, new weapon applied to the wizard. Instant damage was removed. Stamina regeneration slowing rate has been removed entirely. Instead, now it applies a 3-second root after reaching full buildup. When that root breaks, 50% snare is applied for 5 seconds. That's a very significant slowdown. 5 seconds is a long time. If you're able to get that, and the root breaks, they're still snared for a total of 5 seconds at 50%. So that's very significant. They've also reworked the debuff. Now increases frost damage taken by 10%. This is also applied, I imagine, once the root has broken. This will last for combustion. Duration of the debuff is increased to 1 minute, up from 45 seconds, so a 15-second increase. And for disease, the disease affliction, the max stamina reduction debuff has been replaced with 50% stamina regeneration rate. So this to me shows that they're just wanting to still give the person that's been afflicted the ability to regen at a very significant. And then the duration of disease has been reduced to 2 minutes, down from 3. That's a very long duration. Even at 2 minutes, 3 was pretty unbearable. If you're playing solos or teams, you're pretty much out of the fight. Can't really do much. Your damage heavily reduced when you are under the disease. So coming down from 2 minutes seems like a nice touch. I'm interested to see how that affliction plays out. Still very strong. For the wizard, we're moving into the class-specific changes now. Mechanics, you're looking at a charged power now using the frost orb. Will now generate when hitting block targets. Blocking as a warrior or as a sword rogue, power now gets generated. A few of those. The new weapon they added today in the patch is the Frost Orb. Strong option for fighting melee enemies. Trades the ability to block for more control and mobility. This is also stronger single target burst damage. They also changed the staff, and for the fireball specifically, they increased the projectile speed by 15%, which I have a feeling we'll see consistent changes, but 15% is a pretty significant buff. And also a 10% increase in damage, which is pretty amazing. Fireballs still seem strong to me. I know that Wizard got heavily nerfed the pretty much beginning of this season. They were strong for like that week, got nerfed. So it's nice to see a little bit of a buff here, encouraging players to still try Fireball. Dragon's Ball cooldown increased to 6 seconds, up from 4, and doubled the speed of the startup animation. This is pretty nice because I feel like when I would see a Wizard bring out Dragon's Breath, it seemed pretty easy to avoid. It seemed like that animation took quite a while for it to get moving. In terms of Dragon's Fire, they reduced the damage by 15%, did double the speed of the startup animation. They shortened the time it takes to cancel out of the animation into attacks. So a competent wizard will be able to kind of move in and out of the battle, trying to get into attacking mode as soon as they can cancel Dragon's Fire. And they fixed the projectile still lingering in the world after environment. Their evade attack 50 fire affliction flip has been added. This might be pretty strong. Have to be tested. And conflagrate is a second explosion now applies. This is buff to the wizard, getting a little stagger after conflagrate hits on that second explosion. Strong to me. Now for the abilities, the Arclight Explosion fixed an issue where the targeting would collide with Frozen Cyclone and other projectiles. Arclight Cling fixed an issue where the projectile would stay in place if casted. Time Warp had an adjustment. Hitting your own Time Warp pillar no longer generates charged power. This was a good balance change. Overload fixed the dodge to have even frames and reduced the length of the cast animation. Wizard traits, there's some class tools here. Frozen Cyclone increased cooldown to 12 seconds. 6. So that's a double the cooldown there. Decreased Frostbite Affliction build up to 100, down from 250. Fixed an issue where the Cyclone would not fire consistently. Fixed an issue where Cyclone would be stuck in place if cast on the ground. Increased collision radius and reduced the visual effect size to better match the Frozen Cyclone. Now also pierces block. Cyclone doing some new stuff. Seems pretty solid, actually. Still probably hit. Pyroblast, left click no longer cancels the scroll during the startup animation. This is huge. If you were trying to, there would be this like mysterious length of time you would have to wait left click. And if you didn't hit the window or didn't wait long enough, left click would cancel. Pretty annoying. Reduce the damage by 25% on this Pyroblast scroll. They did increase the block damage to 4 up from 2, and invisibility and stealth are removed when the startup animation. Meteor also saw some adjustments. Left click no longer cancels the scroll during the startup animation. This was the same thing Pyroblast was having. Added 250 fire affliction buildup, and the same applicable invisibility and stealth also removed this startup animation. Priest saw some pretty notable adjustments here. Their mirror protection fixed an issue where the mirror could no longer be cast for the rest of a session after being staggered during it. So if you were staggered as a priest trying to cast the mirror, for whatever reason, it would bug out your ability to cast an additional entirety of your playthrough. You have to extract and go back in. Hopefully this sees some enhancements to the mirror play. Mirror meta. I know there's a few people out there playing it. They added a reticle to show the 0.5 second time required for the stationary hold version of the mirror to be cast. This is nice quality of life. And they added a cancel and queue window to the recovery frames of that cast animation. Gleaming Star saw another adjustment. Detonant's buildup on self-hit has been reduced to 100, down from 500. Guided Star is seeing some adjustments. Detonant's buildup on the explosion reduced to 500, down from 700. Detonant's buildup on self-hit reduced to 100, down from 500. And the buildup on pass-through has hit removed, down from 50. Bouncing Star, Detonant's buildup on self-hit reduced to 100, down from 500. And Heaven's Fury, targeting distance is now the same between the tap and the helmet. Casting Reticle has been added to indicate 1 second cast time for increasing the damage and reducing the detonation. That's nice little quality of life. You're actually able to see the circle, an indication of when the damage is increased. Sword and Buckler has also seen some reductions here. Snare duration reduced seconds on the tap version of the cast. So it seems like using the sword, it's not going to pierce through your block. It's reduced the snare duration, which is actually probably pretty nice. Sword and Buckler is pretty strong. I think Priest Kit has a lot of awesome abilities. This, I think, will help people that are maybe stuck just playing Sword and Buckler to try out more of Priest Kit. All in all, I think this isn't really that big of a Priest nerf. I don't play a lot of Priest, so it's hard for me to really comment. I do see a lot of people chatting in the Discord, and it seems like the sentiment is that it isn't really that big of a hit. Other changes still pretty much benefit the Priest. I think that if you're Priest main, you're not really sitting too happy about this. Very strong. Moving on to the Rogue. They have adjusted some mechanics for the Rogue. They have reduced the audible radius of stealth when you're entering your invisibility. They've reduced that sound by 50%. This is pretty interesting. I wonder if there will be more adjustments to this. I'm always keen to hear what the thoughts are behind some of the audio changes. I know that the announcement of Rogue going into invisibility or using their stealth allows players to look out. This will allow for a lot more stealthier plays for the rogues that are trying to enter into combat with stealth. It does cost a lot of mana. When you are invisible as a rogue, you're not regenerating the mana. So this is 50%. Pretty interesting. So, I mean, if you're using it when there's a lot of certain chaos going on in the match, this might be completely unheard by the player. In terms of the claws, maximum affliction buildup from a single attack has been capped at 500. Visage had a fix where the cooldown and cost would still apply even if the teleport failed. So this is nice to see that maybe there would be some mana that would be returned to the player if the Visage failed. I notice sometimes if you jump and cast Visage, not be able to then teleport to anything, it would just disappear. Or if you're using certain climate changes, it won't go off a cliff, it'll just disappear. So teleport fails, it looks like the cooldown and cost would turned. In terms of disorient, that's when a rogue will double evade to root you. This fixed an issue where the root effect from disorient would apply through evade frames. I think that there was a video from Mike GTL showing that this kind of works. I'm not sure if this is completely fixed or if this is something that this is a nerf to the rogue, by the way. But this would be interesting to see if it's still something that we'll see some changes. In terms of the hunter, I'm hearing that there was some nerfs. Their bramble trap has been reduced in terms of stagger. So it's been reduced to a small stagger down from a large stagger. This is nice to see. Bramble trap, still very strong. Shock Beetle HP now scales slightly with the ability power. Sentinel Strike, damage reduced down by 5%. Their Cyclone reduced damage tick rate by 50%. So some slight adjustments here. The damage tick rate is a large adjustment, but I'm not sure how much people were Cyclone for damage rather than just the slow. So this is interesting. This will need to see some play tests to see how it really has been. Sentinel's Call, the targeting fixed to work more consistently. Damage reduction by 20%. Cooldown increased to 20 seconds, up from 8. So this is massive. People could just spam the bird, right? So 20% damage reduction, and then the long cooldown I think was needed. Energy cost increased to 50, up from 40. So all in all, I still think Sentinel's Call is probably going to be a strong option. But interesting to see what that long cooldown does. I think definitely the reduction in 20% was needed. We'll see if that's going to be even required to have a further damage reduction, but interesting to play through it. All in all, Hunter's still very viable, very strong class, I think. Warrior weapons got an adjustment. The Axe Whirlwind specifically has a damage increase of 50%. Things chopping heads. That's a huge increase. Better watch out for those Whirlwind Axe players. Deathball also saw a damage increase of 15%. This is pretty significant. I don't see a lot of Deathball warriors, but Flying Doom specifically has a little bit of a damage increase there. So nice to see some buffs to the warrior class. Their Executioner's Pillars. This has been now fixed to heal the warrior again after executing a player, and this has doubled the healing received. So if you're trying to recuperate a little bit of your health bar, executing a player will now double that healing. So you've locked that trait. So pretty nice buff here. I feel like this is the probably most significant one. See how the Deathball increase also plays out. All in all, I think a W for them. I'm hoping that they continue to make some adjustments. Warrior is in a good spot. I think it's going to see some hopeful adjustments with that third weapon type when it gets released. Shout out to Where's the Sword. And in terms of items, they've added 3 new bandages that can be crafted by the tailor. Awesome. Medicated bandage, enchanted bandage, restorative bandage. The medicated bandage removes poison and disease. Enchanted bandage removes stasis, combustion, and frostbite affliction. Restorative bandage provides the effect of the fortitude potion. This seems really interesting to me. This is going to be, I think, their chance at looking at so many of the issues where that people wanted to craft potions, and there's just not enough potion spots. There's not enough slots in your tool belt. This, I think, is a really interesting. Still bring in a potion, maybe to combat a certain type of class that you might be facing, but then also have a bandage, specifically a certain type of bandage. If you're seeing a lot of rogues rocking the poison, you bring your medicated bandage. And I'm assuming still going to be certain food, potions you can kind of give you a little bit more widespread coverage for other classes. So all in all, really interested in seeing how these work out. This to me is where I believe the priest benefits. Got your bubble, got your cleanse, rocking some bandages. This seems to me like it buffs the. All in all, I like this idea. I like that Notorious Studios makes these changes, and they're in the position where they can explore how these things change gameplay, and they're not afraid to try these things. If it breaks the game, they're quick to fix it. If it's a welcomed addition, then it's even more of a W. So I think the player base so far, from what I've seen, is that they're very receptive to this. So, all in all, really excited to check those out. They've added text to bandages to explicitly note when they remove the hemorrhage effects. All standard bandages still can remove hemorrhage. Specialized bandages not. Getting bleed, have the hemorrhage effect on you, or regular bandage will remove that. New ones will not. Something to keep in mind. They added a new cleansing potion that can remove exactly 1 active affliction of any type. That's kind of like your one-all, be-all, end-all. Cleansing potion needs something off, poison, remove it, got bleed. I'm not sure if this will do it, but I would assume it does. So that to me is something that would need to be tested to see if a cleansing potion would. From what I can understand, bleed is an affliction. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about that. I'm still very much learning things about this game every day. I'm by no means the end all be all knowledge, so I love correct me. They've removed the mystical potion. Existing potions can be disenchanted into their base materials. Have a stockpile of those. You're free to welcome supplies and disenchantments. Possibly the potion. I'm not sure what the cleansing potion requires, but that's interesting. No more mystical potions. They've reduced the elemental armor from cooking ingredients and brought up physical armor bonus from steel pepper to meat in the middle. Reduced the elemental damage bonus from cooking ingredients to match the physical damage bonus. And they reduced the elemental armor on rings and gems to match their rings and gems with elemental armor have received an additional element that they protect against in the following pairs: fire and frost, nature, lightning, and shadow. Stamina, energy, and block potions are shared cooldown. That's pretty nice. I actually like that, and it makes sense to me. Accessories can now be added to the war crate. This is huge. If you're a founders edition, you got that war crate. You know, there's some spots in there where maybe building out your sets, crate that you can have your gear in. It's nice to see. Common accessories that could be purchased from the pawn shop now have a price instead of being free. So sometimes there'd be a ring in there. Recoup for free. Steel tongs now have a sell value, and the heirloom chest is now epic quality. Same capacity, just looks cooler. Right on there. In terms of quests, they've updated the Rise quest so that it correctly counts any skeleton with a shield. Also fixed an issue where the quest board would break when accepting some that apparently fixed. For lodging and vendors, they fixed a critter habitat, which placed critters into slots not available to the player. And they've added a take all outputs of Loom, Forge, Tanner, Critter, Habitat, Fireplace. So the Lodge now has a take all button for all of those furnishings. Added a recipe for the Frozen Cyclone at rank 3 of the crafting bench. And looks like for the finale here, the UI, they added more information when looking at grabbable, interactable, including its name and rarity color. So if there's something in the game world, nails will show up as white, common, and it'll tell you the name of the item. This is pretty nice. There's something that I drop and it's a blue, you can hover over that little white orb, tell you the name of it. If it's a rare item. This is a huge quality of life. I really like this. This is a really nice update to the in terms of your last selected stash tab, it'll now be remembered across the screens where the stash is displayed. Times when you're moving in between like the Loom and the Tanner and you want to add things, swap back to the stash tab. So now this will just be the last tab that you added. Yellow dot notification for pawn shop when you have unobserved stock. Added pawn shop lost item details lost screen after a match. So that's pretty cool. I like that. They've also updated the localization for simplified and traditional. All in all, awesome update. I'm excited to check out the Wizard new weapon. There's lots of quality of life adjustments here. Excited to jump in and I'm also live on Twitch. Jump on over there and hit me with a follow. I'll be uploading more videos for Legacy Sorcery. So if you like this, give me a thumbs up. Appreciate the support. See you in the next one. Later.